Hello friends, this is your humble narrator and host Tony Figueroa here, coming to you with another video, this time a quick one. And this video here is sort of a semi-sequel to one I did a couple of months ago called 5 Views of an Image, in which I took a drawing that I had done that was partly inspired by 90s comics, specifically the image style, and I attempted to duplicate that. And then I did a few other iterations of it, and honestly I wasn't happy with any of them. I posted the video anyway. But I decided I couldn't take it much longer, and I decided to just take the 6th crack at it. And I do believe this is the best version of it. I think the proportions are much, much better. The whole thing works in a much better way. I paid much more attention to underdrawing, shape, form, gesture, all the things that you really need to have before you try to jump into a finish. And I kept the anatomical rendering detail to a minimum, just enough to suggest where everything is and not much more. So I think I can finally put this to bed. So let's move on to the next thing that I did. You can see here I am currently have a J. Allen St. John homage piece on my drawing table here. It's from the cover of a Tarzan novel, and once I get this finished up, I may do another video showing the original and then showing my my version of it. But really a lot to learn from looking at the work of the old school artists, and I'm talking about in this case with J. Allen St. John. He's worked in the early part of the 20th century, but he was just really a fantastic artist, and a lot of people, including Frazetta, have either been influenced by him or have certainly sung his praises. So I will keep you posted on how that turns out. And speaking of Frank Frazetta, the one and only Frank Frazetta, often imitated but will never be duplicated. My favorite painting from him, from his vast body of work, for some reason, is Winged Terror. And I think it resonates with me because it's sort of a lone hero facing the odds. You're not sure if he's going to win or if he's going to lose. And it's just an unassailable composition. I mean, Frazetta was just a master at composition, as well as his figure drawing and, many other things. So I decided was feeling pretty brave, decided I wanted to do my homage, my take on it. And this is the pencils, done on 11 by 17 copy paper, which is standard comic book size artboard. And then once everything was more or less where I needed it to be, then the next step was to put it onto the light box, trace it off, and it yields this version here. And let me pull back a little bit. And this is just done with a Pentel brush pen, some Micron markers, dry brush. And one of the things I learned from this piece, besides reaffirming the fact that Frazetta was just such a phenomenal artist on so many levels, is that with painting you can be a little bit more impressionistic and leave out certain details or just mildly imply them, whereas with comic book art, it's almost like a photograph in which every element is in hyperfocus. It's all competing for your attention at the same time. Frazetta was a master at guiding your eye where he wanted it to go to serve the composition. With comic book art, you can kind of suggest that. So what I decided to do was try to get a little impressionistic with the background, which according to the original painting, I think is some kind of a cave or something. And then with the main figure, just keep that and everything else pretty sharp. I was feeling brave, so I took a crack at it. I'm more or less pleased with the way it came out. Of course, hindsight's always 20/20 vision, but I gave it the best that I could. I'm certainly happy that I did it. I learned quite a bit from it, and I'm looking forward to the next thing that I do. In the meantime, I've got a few ideas bubbling under the surface, and so we'll see what that yields us. But I just want to leave you with this. One of the things that has always troubled me in my own artistic journey is assuming an audience. And what I mean by that simply is you can't draw or paint or create anything that will please everyone all of the time, all at once. You draw like you draw, you write like you write. Whatever your field is, you do it the way you do it in your particular style, what influences you, what interests you. And hopefully you find an audience. But I really can't worry about trying to please what an imagined set of expectations. You just have to do the best you can. You put it out into the world and you hope it resonates. So at any rate, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon. Take care.